Hi everyone, I'm Maria McLachlan. On Saturday, which was the 12th of March 2022, there was a women-only event held in the centre of Manchester, England. It was a walking vigil whose focus was on protesting male violence against women and girls. At this event, a young man who calls himself Erin Dawson assaulted my friend Izzy, who goes by the Twitter handle of @BelleStuffy. Erin Dawson is seen here in a red-trimmed spotty dress and jaunty matching handbag. The man on the right in boring black calls himself Charlotte something, I don't know what, and I believe they are a couple of tosspots. Here's another view of Dawson, someone saying the skirt doesn't hang as it would on a woman. Can't imagine what she's talking about. It seems that as Izzy was walking, Dawson came up behind her so she didn't see him coming, and he lobbed a plastic bottle of milkshake at her head or neck, and less than 20 minutes later he did the same thing again. He has since proudly uploaded a picture of a bottle of Yazoo milkshake onto his Twitter profile. Izzy, pictured here, was not the only woman who ended up covered in milkshake. Several others were too, as Erin Dawson himself later boasted on Twitter. Imagine that. A group of women trying to stage a non-violent protest against male violence provokes yet more male violence from a man who has the audacity to claim to be some kind of woman. Why would someone who claims to be a woman want to assault women protesting male violence? Makes no sense, does it? The only reason I can think of why he might have decided to do it is because the vigil was advertised as women only, and as a male colonizer of womanhood, he knows what that means and he doesn't like it. Women standing up to men's entitlement to redefine what it is to be a woman must be punished, eh, Dawson? By the way, there were reports from those present of other violent incidents taking place, but I haven't seen any footage or other online confessions, so I'm not going to talk about them. I experienced a strong sense of déjà vu as I was reading the accounts of what happened and the responses by the disgusting, woman-hating, morally bankrupt morons of the gender cult. Every kind of response made by assaulted numbskulls to the news of what happened in Manchester had been made 4.5 years earlier after the assault on me. And I have documented these for posterity in my long video about the assault and on my website, but I'll revisit them very briefly now. They can be summarised as, firstly, comments celebrating the violence and congratulating the violent man for assaulting a woman with whom he disagrees. I've got loads of screenshots of these and encouraging more violence. Secondly, without any justification whatsoever, the victim is called a bigot, a Nazi, a white supremacist, a fascist, or whatever. This grotesquely false and unconscionable claim is used to justify the assault. In fact, look at this one I found in my folder. I didn't even know I'd come across Sikandar before. She's the woman I responded to in my last video. But this was posted on Tumblr very soon after I was assaulted in response to somebody who'd made a nice little portrait of me and called me a hero. Still waiting for a real argument from you, Sikandar. Thirdly, there are the comments that minimise the assault and the effect it would have had on the victim. And fourthly, it is to Darvo, deny, attack and reverse victim and offender. In my case, I was alleged to be the violent one. I was the one who should have been arrested, and some even said that I would have been arrested if my victim had wanted to come forward. There were literally hundreds of comments claiming stuff like that, and they continue to this day. Okay, so let's see how it played out in Manchester. Obviously, I wasn't there. I can only show what I've seen myself. And if I do find any more information, maybe I'll be able to link to it below or something. So this is the tweet that alerted me to what had happened. Belstafi was struck twice in what seemed to be a targeted attack. Well, she was holding the mic and leading the chants. That would make her a natural target to a man seeking glory by attacking a woman. But it could also very well be that he knew who Issy is because she is a very active and courageous feminist hero. Just the sort of woman a man like Dawson would want to bully and try to intimidate. And we learn that a scuffle took place as women tried to detain him. Dawson tweeted, "Gender critics milkshaked," but the footage is of him running away after one of the assaults with a woman in pursuit. It's barely visible, but he does have a Yazoo bottle in his hand and he chucks the contents behind him at her, though it seems most of it hits the ground. And the congratulations begin. Check. You assaulted women. Feminists protesting male violence. Good lad! I owe you a bevy or 5. Legend. And of course they try to justify the assault by pretending that women protesting male violence are bigots and fascists. Check. But how? How is protesting violence against women and girls bigoted and fascist? Do they even know what those words mean? Do they really not see the irony? And of course they do their best to minimise what happened. Check. Even the man himself is in clear denial that what he did was commit an assault. He claims to take part in protests against male violence. No. This is also similar to what happened when Julie Bindel was attacked in Edinburgh by another man in a dress who publicly admitted that he'd lost his rag. He yelled at her, he lunged at her, and if it wasn't for the security guards preventing him, he would have got her. Under the law in this country, you don't have to make physical contact, and you don't have to cause physical pain or injury for it to be assault. You simply have to put someone in fear of assault. Now, watch this next clip, which is when they are restraining Dawson. His partner, Charlotte, is, I think, trying to rescue him. He is hitting the woman who's trying to hold on to him, and she manages to get a few kicks to land. See what you think. So it's not entirely clear who is who or what is happening, but I'm pretty sure of what isn't happening, and that is that contrary to what Dawson and what his supporters are claiming, the video doesn't show very clearly that either he or Charlotte is getting strangled or choked. Darvo, check. Okay. Some of the bravest women I know, and they're clearly gorgeous, so joke's on you for calling them men. Says George, who is in fact a woman, and she is referring here to the cowardly man who assaulted Izzy and ran away, and his mate Charlotte. Very revealing comment from George. She seems to think that looking gorgeous, as she perceives them, means they must be women. How weird. I think this speaks for itself, says George. Oh my goodness! Is that more or less serious than being violently misgendered? So the police arrived and arrested him. Here is he telling us what happened and that he'd been arrested. The next day, she tells us that he got a conditional caution. We don't know what the conditions are, but as long as he fulfills them, he won't be prosecuted. Izzy points out that when the same thing happened to far-right politician Nigel Farage, his attacker was prosecuted, and he was in fact later convicted of common assault, as was my assailant, Tara Wolfe. She also shows a tweet by Dawson crowing and calling her a fascist. On the website on which I found that explanation of conditional cautions, I learnt that they are not given for crimes categorised as hate crimes. Presumably they are always prosecuted. Crimes like Dawson's, which are motivated by misogyny, are not categorised as hate crimes. Crimes perceived to be motivated by transphobia are. Women get arrested and put through hell for tweeting biological truths or pictures of ribbons. Feminist speakers and academics are cancelled and bullied for supposedly making some millennial snowflakes feel unsafe with their words. It would be interesting to know how the police would react to Dawson or any other trans activist bully getting a milkshake thrown at them. I absolutely believe that the attacker would be prosecuted regardless of whether the attack was motivated by transphobia or just revenge against a nasty, vicious woman hater. Dawson, Wolfe, that arsehole in Edinburgh who attacked Julie Bindel, they do these things because they know they can get away with it, and it's only a matter of time before a woman or even a man supporting women gets seriously hurt or worse by one of these maniacs. That's all. Cheers.